to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, makes sense.
But anyway, hello, welcome to SofaWax. I hope it sounds good. It looks good. I'm
Definitely
trying a
good.
different angle. You can see my sexy legs, right? You can see his cock. But anyway, I've had a rough 2 weeks. Shout out to H Project for the last show. That was pretty awesome. To be able to present an artist to the Barcelona scene. That was very exciting for me. It's not something that's going to happen very often. But yeah, I've had a couple of health issues this past week. Not important to talk about here, but it's made it very rough for me to like function as a normal person. But here I am, more than ever, excited to talk to my friend here,
Hey.
which I've always felt like I've got along with you very well.
Yeah,
I
we're
vibe with
running
you, but
quickly.
for some reason, we've never really.
We just pass on. The Barcelona is big in that regard.
Yeah, I guess it's like every other scene, right?
Yeah.
I'm not looking at my Instagram. I'm literally looking for his bio. I found it. So let's read your bio first.
Oh well. Okay. I don't remember it fully, so I'll be surprised as well.
Aurisma,
Aurimas. Yeah.
Aurimas, Aurimas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for
I
having me.
always
It's a
call him
pleasure.
by his DJ name, so I'm sorry. I don't. I'm probably gonna destroy your name.
Yeah, don't worry. Feel free. Feel free.
I'm not trying to, man. I'm trying to give you love. You deserve it, man. You're a nice guy.
Thank you.
You're talented. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
I guess first I should say, if you like my show, like it, share it, subscribe to it. I'm very happy with the way that it's growing. It's not a show looking for fame. It's just looking to entertain with the talents, that are local and their travels, how they've gotten to be who they are today, and what's in the future too. But mainly,
Absolutely.
the path is very interesting to me. So your bio. I haven't actually read your bio, so it's the first time for me.
Perfect.
Dubin, which is his DJ name, Dubin. Let's start there. How did you get Dubin?
It's part of my last name because my last name is Dubinskas, and I just didn't want to go with the Dubin without the double N because it sounded just like a dubbing as from dub scene, which is nice.
Right.
But then my CEO kicked in, and I'm like, yeah, if you Google for Dubin, there's nothing, like there's everything but me.
Right.
I can't, I can't deal with that. And there's also a friend of mine who made a joke about my last name, and that actually made me think like, oh, my last name could be Dubbin, like, yeah. And then I thought like, yeah, but I need a bit of a change, so I just added the second N on it, and I just rolled with it since.
Sorry, I just remembered that I need to turn that off.
You know, I told I remind you about the same. So
Before that, it's my air conditioning. Now it's gonna start getting a little warm in here, but it every now and then I have this air conditioning in my studio, and it needs to pump out water every so often. But the travel of the water is so far that the motor kind of has this like loud fart noise that is kind of
Yeah.
ugly for a podcast.
yeah,
But,
it will look like us.
it cools nicely, but it just sounds like ass. So Dubin, originally from Lithuania, now calls Barcelona home, and is an active member of the Junglist.lt collective. His musical journey began with punk rock and jungle, but his passion now spans the entire bass spectrum. With 5 years of experience as a jungle stage manager at an underground music festival, he has also played a key role in organizing various music events in Lithuania, immersing himself in a vibrant and dynamic scene. Always on the hunt for the next big track, Dubin ensures each of his mixes is unique and fresh. His dynamic sets have earned him frequent airplay on the Lithuanian national radio station, which is crazy. Nice. I like your bio.
It's like when you're reading it loud to me, I feel like, oh man, that's somebody good wrote it. Like now I could use ChatGPT to write it to me, a PR text. I'm like, man, that sounds like an actual PR text.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
I like it. Who wrote it?
Actually, I did it,
You
but
did.
it's like 5 iterations of it until
Yeah.
I bottle it down to a bit what's actually
Yeah.
what I want to say with it,
Yeah.
and it because before, like, I used to mention every country I played as if it's that, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Belgium. Oh my god, which is close by. I mean, I loved it there, absolutely
No, I
perfect.
understand what you're saying.
But it's not like a list of every single country
Right.
to like scratch
Right.
a map or
No,
something.
I understand. I understand for sure. All right, so let me go through your bio here a little bit. Lithuania. How is the drum and bass jungle scene there?
It's I would call it lovely now because like COVID, like on every other scene around in general, I would call it on the whole entertainment business. It did numbers in a very bad way. Before, like what I would call it before I left, and it was amazing. The one of the best scenes for me personally because of how active the crowd is and how active they get if you can give them what they want. I always loved it. Now it's a bit more calmer. There's still events happening. I saw, if I'm not mistaken, at least I personally saw like 3 festivals that are purely underground happening already.
Wow.
And before I left last year, I played in 8 festivals in 3 months in Lithuania.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like super small country.
Yeah.
We have 3 million people. You have
Yeah.
the same here
Wow.
in Barcelona, I mean. And it's the whole country, 3
So
million
what
people.
kind of music do they like in general?
For underground, you mean?
Yeah.
Like it depends. For the festivals, the biggest like I don't want to call it a challenge because it's not like really a challenge, but like the most people were which stage would attract the most people, and the biggest competitor was always hardcore stage.
Hardcore.
And up till now, like from last few big events I saw was focused either on techno, on tech, on hardcore, on like they sometimes narrow down like oh they want just new tempo or like up tempo hardcore, which is usually not that much liked, but or they go for a specific genre of hardcore. We have a few really good hardcore producers in Lithuania as well, and people really like when they go to the party, they like the hard stuff. So especially like
Okay.
with the drum and bass and jungle,
Yeah.
it's also like you need not to make them sleep because the regular tracks will not work. They want
Wow.
to feel why you're there on stage.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, the first idea that popped in my head was always like hard drugs, hard music. It goes together like alcohol and weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but it's not just that. It's just I don't know the climate. People just like. But I felt the same in Poland, for example.
Okay.
When I went to Poland, I was like, they just like get in when it gets really going rough. Anything easier, it's nice for a day, but not for the party
Yeah.
like that. So it kind of in that regard goes. I don't know why. The climate does it a bit because it's mostly rainy, cloudy, so people like to get into the spaces that are warm and small. When you get to the hardcore party, it's like sweat is from the ceiling every single time, and because it's never a very big venue, and they go, and I guess it goes in that direction more or less, like that. I don't think like of course drugs always follow somewhere there. It just never. I don't ever think that's a main driver for it.
Right.
Because you like I don't like I could take any kind of drug and there is certain music I would never be able to listen
Right.
and enjoy it. So I never think it's the fault of the drugs. It's just the music.
Right.
People really like it a bit harder, a bit more edgy, a bit more rougher. I don't know, maybe to offset the harder life, for example, because
Okay.
it's not that easy. It's not chill. It's winter. It's rainy. It's windy.
And how known is like underground music there? Is it a big like scene in general, or is
It's-
it like niche?
It's niche.
Yeah.
It's niche. It's definitely niche. I couldn't say. There are blips and bops every now and then but it's never like you can have a very big mainstream artist book some big artists for the main stage. I don't know, like Chase and Status or something,
Right.
and they would book it for the main stage of the big commercial festival. but they would never do a full stage of jungle drum and bass music or
Okay.
even or hardcore or anything.
Yeah.
It's usually by default there's drum and bass jungle, psytrance, hardcore, like
Okay.
three. I would say the three for any festival for
So
any
no
other group.
house or techno.
Techno goes, but techno balances between underground and mainstream because
Oh,
there's
gotcha.
techno in recent years has been so high across the board,
Yeah.
so that you can have somebody super popular, super mainstream
Yeah.
artist doing techno in the big main commercial event, and then you can have a completely opposite doing big event. But it's like techno is, I wouldn't call it niche
Yeah.
in that regard.
Right.
There's plenty
So
of
how's like hip hop, like urban sounds, reggae?
Mm, reggae. We have few very good reggae DJs, and we always had somebody pushing reggae at all of the times. It doesn't always fit into the people too much
Yeah.
because it's like reggae is goes towards more mainstream chill music.
Okay.
Like you could accompany reggae with jazz, for example,
Okay.
festival and stuff, depending, of course, on kind of reggae. So the like niche crowd knows the reggae words, for example, or
Yeah.
knows the reggae track,
Yeah.
but they want that reggae vocal on hardcore.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
We had a lot of artists that are MCs and stuff and doing their tracks on a lot of harder songs, just
Oh.
and the people like, oh my
They
god,
just go
somebody
nuts.
is like, yeah. I mean, I go nuts the same. Like it works for
What's the
me.
age limit for parties?
18,
Okay. Okay. Um.
the typical at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And is there like a established like music scene there, like as far as like their own pop or anything like that?
It
Like
used to be. We used to have a weekly event for Rasta Day, and we usually had a place, a singular place that every Thursday, it's Rasta Day. People are going
no,
to
no, no.
that
But I
event.
mean pop music. I
Pop
mean
music,
like commercial pop
commercial.
music, like a local scene. You know, like where they have like their music videos, their radio, like a industry with like this pop angle.
There is some, but like, especially when you go to commercial stuff and you
Yeah.
see that it's 3 million people, like there's not much commercials to be done over it. They have it, they're
Yeah.
doing it, but but it's pretty limited in its
Yeah.
scope and everything. And also, it's like mm, they're very separated. They're very off limits. They're usually like very. It used to be at least up until a certain point where it was. Like, it always had ties with criminal organizations at some point,
Okay.
and that got cleaned out during the time.
Okay.
That was also a phase of very bad pop music, let's say it like
Yeah.
that. Some of it's still popular there,
Mm-hmm.
here and there, and then now it's no longer like that. So there's other ways to reach it and grow
Right.
your audience. So they're not bound going that route.
Right.
And but we have a lot of indie scene, for example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of indie bands because the same national radio station
Yeah.
does a lot of push on pop music, but like they have I think they have more radio stations than two. I just don't remember from the top of my, but the second one they use, where the Baltic Champion has a show as well, it's the most popular out of all of them, and it always caters to, like, you had indie rock, like you have
So if
drum
you
and
were to
bass.
go to like a general high school, like
Mm.
youth, what are they into?
Oh, you could tell by clothes almost.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's like everywhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could tell. Oh, these guys are into the hip hop, and like with the what I like with the current generations a lot. Like they might dress whatever, look how they feel like they look good, uh, but they would listen to a bit of everything.
Okay.
You wouldn't find like, yeah, I like jungle, I like drum, I just don't want to listen for an hour. Like I like it when it's in a track, it doesn't matter how many, but I want a mix of a bit of everything.
Right.
And it kind of works. In Lithuania, I would say it's still a bit slower in that direction. They still go, oh, I listen to hip hop,
Specific thing.
yeah, I listen to drum and bass, I listen
Yeah.
to punk, I listen to
I'm
reggae.
sure maybe it's like a smaller crowds and it's more like
Yeah.
your tribe.
Yeah,
So finding your people.
It's absolutely, and even in the cities, you go to the capital cities,
Yeah.
which I would call it now is on the low with all the niche events. It's just there's no space, people don't really come. There's so many choices, but there's smaller cities, for example, like there's one Alytus, which is a bit low, down below my hometown.
Okay.
I've been hearing a bunch of positive reactions from everybody, and especially the DJs, because you go to the smaller city, the people don't really know everything about it. They just
They
like
just
the
enjoy
music.
it.
They just enjoy the music, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is like,"
Yeah,
and
that's
and
dope.
they give it like, "Yeah, I went to the party, so I should enjoy the party, and it's
Right,
really nice to play there. The people are like excited to get
right.
something because they didn't really used to get so much, and that I love, absolutely love it. Like the next time I said I'm going back to Lithuania, I want to visit that city just to see it there. And I was talking apparently with somebody from that city, and he was like, "Oh my god, why are you even mentioning my city?"
When's the last time you've been back?
I've been in February this year.
Oh, okay. So you go often?
Not much. Before COVID, I haven't been for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
a
beautiful.
bit something. But then because the last time I wanted to go there, I just brought my parents here because it was cheaper to bring two of them here than for me to go there. And I was
Wow.
like, how does this work? I don't know. But instead
Crazy.
of paying 250 for my flights,
Yeah.
I paid 220 for their both flights.
Crazy.
I was like, okay, I'll just bring them here, and they're gonna enjoy the good time,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm planning to go in September now. I have plans for, hopefully, if everything goes right. There's a bunch of people that the DJs are having birthdays in September, including mine, and just like, yeah, let's go, maybe do something not big, but
Nice.
just to have a good time,
Yeah.
and then have a party.
Yeah.
So I have that idea, and I hope I can return in September, including
Nice.
my hometown.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, I love it.
So it says here that you moved to Barcelona right in the beginning of your bio.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's fairly, because I call it, I think it's bad to call out that I'm Lithuanian, and not to say that, hey, I'm living, I'm actually like 10 years haven't been home. I'm stranded in Australia or something. No, no.
right.
So just like that.
Yeah. 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 So what made you come here?
Actually, I burned out. Like, to be like, when I look in retrospective, at the time I wasn't thinking like that at all too much, but I got burned out. I was working two jobs, and I was DJing and trying to do events or helping with the events and all that.
In Lithuania.
And two jobs that rest days we had, and I always wanted to go or DJ at rest day. Um, and then I went. I had a holiday. I went to Mallorca, which is not the best place to get an idea of Spanish lifestyle and everything, because it's just touristic place.
Yeah.
But I just drove around, and being me, I spent more time in the middle of Mallorca and there than the islands. And of course, there
Yeah.
you meet the locals, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a good food.
Yeah.
And then I spent there, I think, 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
I just had like good food and good weather. Like, that's actually to go. That was everything on my mind. There was nothing more. Like, there was not like a comment. Oh yeah, I have this thing. And I
Yeah.
come back home. I put on my LinkedIn. I hit up a few companies. One company get back to me in 3 days. I get 3 interviews, and they say, when can you start? And I'm like, I just came back from Mallorca a week ago. I don't have money. I don't have anything planned properly. And in 3 months, and said like, can you give me 3 months? Like, just wait for me.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, no problem. And I'm like, what, really?
Wow.
And I moved there at the worst possible time. And my first day I came was on 1st of August.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And I had my NIA done in a week and a
Wow.
half
Crazy.
or something like that.
That's
Yeah,
super fast.
on
in
August.
August.
Exactly.
How in the world did that happen?
Because I went with the company helps a bit. Like, they don't
Oh,
pay, but like they have all the
contacts.
contacts and everything. Just send you
Yeah.
there, do that, do this, do that, and I got you, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
can write, I can sign contracts, perfect.
Right. So how long has it been now?
7 years, yeah.
Wow.
In August it's gonna be 7 years.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, time flies here.
Yeah, no,
So
I
I
know.
just chilled out, and I'm like, oh my god, it's been 5 years, and then I blink because I moved houses,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, it's already a year and a half in the new house. What the hell? When do I start living? It's running. The time is
Yeah.
running. Been crazy, but it's been fun, so
Yeah.
can't complain at all.
No, I know. I can imagine. What does it feel like when you go back to Lithuania? living
I
here
feel like a
now?
tourist.
Yeah.
much more like the life is a bit more intense and the
Yeah.
things get a bit more. I could compare it to I always joke around that London is the second capital of Lithuania because we have like 500,000 Lithuanians there. Like
Yeah.
if I go to London, I meet more Lithuanians than in Vilnius sometimes.
It's the
But
same thing with Catalans too.
but outside of that, like I like it. I love it there. Like I'd never have a bad time, but that's because I don't need to live there. You know, I'm joking, but it's kind of because you go to you go back in a different mindset. You don't need to run around. You don't need to
No.
check the bus graphics. You
No.
can just cash it out on taxi or whatever
Right.
because you know it's temporarily.
Right.
It's not a persistent. You need to find your living
course,
place.
of course.
So all the things that there are minor things, they just add up.
Mm-hmm.
The minor things are here too. They're just
Yeah.
different in
Yeah.
a way, and for me, it's a bit more relaxing.
So
and
you feel like you're at home here?
a lot more, yeah.
Yeah.
I like in Barcelona. I think I will move out of Barcelona as a city itself, just to outside
Yeah.
the city, because I like the vibe
Okay,
a
okay.
lot. But
Yeah.
other than that, I've been loving it here because I used to live in El Carmelo,
Mhm.
and now I live in Canberra.
Okay.
Best places around to live because you get a connection with the city.
Yeah.
But when
you
I'm
can
sleeping,
escape.
but when I'm sleeping at home, I hear the birds.
Right. Of course.
And I was like, okay, it doesn't get any better than
Right.
this.
Tell me about it. So it says here you're an active member of Junglist.lt.
It's LT for Lithuanian.
Oh, LT.
If
okay.
it has,
I was literally going to ask you, where is that collective from?
yeah, because it's from Lithuania. I wouldn't even call it a super active collective because it's been some people in, some people out. There's been other collectives.
How long has it been around?
Oh, it's been around for long. It's established by Dr. Jungle, one of the radio hosts, and he established sometimes, I guess, in the 90s.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, because he started everything first with the. Well, I don't think if everything first, but he was one of the first for sure
Wow.
in doing the gigs, the parties, and promoting Jungle
Wow.
because he established the radio also super early
And
with someone.
what's up with him? Is he active?
He's in the radio. He's doing the radio show, still active, still gigging.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to Dr. Jungle, and
Yeah.
he's still doing the show, still with Baltic Champions. Now there's more of them, so it's a bit
Wow.
easier on him as well. So
Wow, respect. Wow.
and he's been doing. I've been digging through his record collect, like all my DJ stuff, all my music taste and kind of a jungle scene is very much from him. Like all the festivals I did, and a lot of them he used to be the organizer of the stage. I used to be the with him either helping or just there
Right.
with the festival or
Right.
anything on that. So a lot of that from organizational standpoint, how to deal with the artist and booking and all
Right.
that,
Right.
anything in the jungle. I think on Facebook we even had like 800, 900 people in common.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's we have a lot in common with a lot of people we worked at. So a lot of things, I took it literally from him in terms of like music, jungle and stuff.
How does it work? Sorry, I lost your.
Yeah,
thing
no
here.
worry.
How does it work in Lithuania? Do you have funding to do events, or do you make the money from the parties?
Oh,
and then
it's just that. Like the funding, you
It's the
can
same as
apply.
here.
Yeah, you can apply for the funding and all that if you have a project and it can be sold like that. But just yesterday, I was watching a comedy bit, a Lithuanian comedy bit about the cultural financing for the cultural project, and they were just like, yeah, this event for like this global event for everything, 130 euros. So they're like, I mean, you can submit the project and you can still win it. It's just not gonna be the money you expect.
So what would you say is the number one problem with doing events in Lithuania?
Number one, oh, that's finance, absolutely
Just
finance.
finance,
Just
okay.
financial. It's
Okay.
because
Because here the number one problem is venues, finding a venue.
yeah, well, the venue is gonna be an issue, but you might find something.
Yeah.
There's gonna be something around.
People move around. It's not like here where everybody wants to go towards the center. If you do a party out in the outskirt, like you're gonna have an empty room, you know.
The people like to. That's what I love in Lithuania parties, especially the festivals. That's why we had people like going outside. People like going camping. People
wow.
like going there, and I love it absolutely as well.
okay,
Like people like going to festival on Thursday and coming back on Monday.
So is it more of a festival scene, more than a club scene?
Well, I mean, you have both depending on the season. It's
Yeah.
just in summer, it's more
Out.
festival, and then
Okay.
because during summer, if you do an event, you'll have all of the problems, both
Uh,
finding the venue which is open properly,
right.
and then financial part, and then the finding the people that want to go when it's hot to the club.
Got you. Got you.
That doesn't matter if you run air conditioner; they will be just like, "What I'm doing inside when I can be outside."
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, we have that same problem
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
So it says your musical journey began with punk rock and jungle. So okay, so explain some of that.
Oh yeah, easy.
How did
I
it start? How did music start in your life?
Well, music. I remember buying my first CD in the market for which band was called? It was German pop band. With the blue guys. It's I can't remember from the top of my head, but it's just a regular pop track. So I guess you could stay started there. But I always had a very uh, when I was growing up and like listening music from whatever else somebody else is choosing or playing, I had some of the, I wouldn't say worst, but almost kind of music experiences in that regard. It was like some tracks Lithuanian that are known for swearing and nothing else good, or like bad jokes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I had a few CDs of like what you would call at the time underground music, because they were singing about drugs and stuff,
Okay.
and or like having tracks with a bit of almost techno housey kick,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and all that. So I had experience with that, but then at around, I don't know when I went to the first one, probably I was 14 or 15. I was just all about the punk rock, ska punk, hardcore
How did
punk.
you find it?
I was just around me.
Oh.
Like in my school, I switched 3 schools, so that's another story. But in my last school in gymnasium, most of my friends used to listen to the metal,
Okay.
and I and a few others used to listen to the punk. But when usually you go to events and stuff, they kind of
Mix.
mix, and you have the same crowd because it's the same bar that allows
Gotcha.
and does those events.
Right.
It does both for metal and for punk, so you
Right.
always have somebody from that
Right.
and from that listening.
How old are you?
37.
37. Okay. Just on trying to understand like the
Mm.
punk and the
At the time, it was pretty popular in Lithuania. It was
yeah.
pretty popping,
Yeah.
and we had a few bands. I never had a chance at the time to listen to any big bands or like established punk rock stars or whatever, because nobody was passing by in that manner
Right.
to Lithuania. But we had some local good ones that I liked.
Okay.
We had a few festivals around that. It was really nice, and then I kind of picked up. I was always listening to some kind of electronic music, like it was somewhere. Because I was always a gamer, so I always liked to play video games. And like when I'm not working or when I'm not doing stuff on computer, I always enjoy like, what's your pastime? Like, oh, I like watching TV series. Doesn't work for me.
Right.
I'd rather.
So wait a second. At home,
Mhm.
did your parents do anything with music? Listen
No,
to
no,
music?
no.
Or
My
anything?
parents were just regular
There's
working.
no music at home.
I mean, they listen to some music here and there, but nothing outside of what you
Any
consider niche.
cousin, uncle?
No, like my godfather, he likes AC/DC. So
Okay.
that's like the biggest off mainstream charts that
Yeah.
you would go. My mother likes the pop music,
Yeah.
like straight up.
Mm-hmm.
She knows her bands she
Yeah.
likes, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which is, I call it perfect.
Right.
And
So then, like, who would you say is your favorite punk band?
oh, that's the ones who have an album with the skeleton with this. I forgot the name of them. It's the first one, and I even remember the solo from one band, from one of the tracks. How they're not Disturbed. Disturbed came way late. Exploited, I think they're called.
Exploited.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I don't know.
I think, or was it the track Exploited? But
And
if I would Google, I would find it
Yeah, of
really
course.
fast. But I
Of
just
course. No, I was just trying to get a picture of the times. So, how did you listen to music back then? Around that time?
Soulseek,
Soulseek. So, like downloading MP3s.
and hoping that they're good quality.
Right, right, yeah. And so,
Because buying it was so expensive compared to the currency,
yeah,
it was just simply out of question. Like, you want to buy something, you must be crazy or crazy rich, because
right.
it costs like a ton, anything like that.
How did you spend your time with your friends when you were that age? I mean, I'm imagining you were a teenager around that time.
Yeah, around between 16 and 18, I was basically all the time in outside of my like computer stuff. I was just outside. If I want to meet somebody, it's outside.
Right.
Like I didn't have the phone until I had a phone when I was like 17, 16. I
Mm.
already had it, but I really don't recall it that everybody would be using it that much.
Yeah.
Like my parents didn't search for me per
Right.
se. It's just I just needed to be at the time home.
Right. So you never went to record stores.
Oh, there was just one I think at the time but there was just maybe one in my hometown.
Right.
My hometown is the second biggest city in Lithuania, but since it's 3 million, like even the first city is not
Yeah.
that
See,
big.
to me, it's incredible coming, growing up in New York City, right? Or I grew up across the pond from New York City in New Jersey, but New York City was my playground.
Yeah,
Um, God, New York was rammed with record stores, as everyone knows. To me, I felt like that was normal.
yeah, I
So
can
I
imagine.
understand how, like, I was very young when I started going to record stores, like very, very young. Um, I think I was probably 11 or 12, and so I understand the culture of the record store, the people you talk to, how you learn about things, even how you move around a record store to find stuff. That takes a lot of years of experience. But I just assumed everyone had that experience.
Mm,
So when I talk to someone like you, who is basically like, every time I ask you a question to find a lane, all I find is like a dead corner. I'm like, so how in the world did you become involved in jungle drum and bass? It seems so, because coming from New York City, jungle and drum and bass were a type of music that were so niche.
mm.
It was like people understood ambient music in New York City
Crazy.
way before something
Oh,
like
really? We got
jungle.
some really good Lithuanian ambient
Yeah, I love
producers.
ambient music. Um, so it was something where you had to go down like a very specific path to end up finding this. Um, an easy path in New York City was to like end up going to Ray's and then finding the Jungle Room. That's basically, how a lot of people found it. Um, but when I hear about a scene or a city where there aren't record stores, where people are just downloading stuff, so there isn't influence from your friends, like, yo, check this out.
There is some, but like,
Yeah.
but
So how did you find jungle music?
so like I didn't find the jungle per se in itself.
Yeah.
Well, I can call it. It found me in that sense,
No,
but
but you know what I mean. Like
yeah, but
meet
I
with
I was listening to a lot of punk and rock and whatever at the time, and it was always a niche, a bit of niche rock, punk rock, not just like the the mainstream stuff or like pop punk. It
yeah,
never worked with me.
yeah,
Even though I see the appeal, it's just not for me. And as I was gaming, there was like, to be honest, one of the games that always stood out for me was Unreal Tournament. And aside from that, a lot of other games like Quake or Homeworld, they always had very very good soundtracks.
okay.
And Unreal Tournament used to have jungle drum and bass. Quake used to have drum and bass, and there used to be
Wow.
a bunch
So
of even now you can find a lot like that, but it's a bit different. And I was like, but I like this electronic. Like, what is this? And in my head, my concept was this is electronic music,
yeah,
and I have nothing else to grasp on.
right.
I have friends from schools, but they're into metal. Some are maybe into rap a bit,
Yep.
and then the rest is like they just don't really care. Everything more or less goes until they listen to hardcore. Then say like, no, 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 not this.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the normal radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I wouldn't even found it like. And when I moved to cities, I was 21 at the time. When I moved the cities, I was still a bit into the rock and still was keeping it up with people and friends, because it was, once you kind of meet some of the people, it's very easy to meet the rest of the people, because you know how to act, you know where
Right.
where people are, what to talk about. It's not like, hey man,
Right.
You like metal too, me too, and that's the whole conversation.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work like that. And with the jungle, actually, I found Rasta Day was one of the first events that I went to, and I went there and I'm like, oh, it's like they're playing like exactly what I digged up about, and like let me find the people in it to actually learn about it properly.
What was it that called your attention about this music? Because as you know, now you're older, you're more experienced. Jungle music is not easy music.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not music that's easy
But
to appreciate.
we're coming from punk. It's not,
Okay, so
that
it
different
was
in that regard.
the like anti.
Yeah, you can call it like that. For me, at the time when I was like in the wall anti everything with the punk music, the jungle and drum and bass just fitting into all that.
Breaking the molds.
In that
Okay,
regard, for
got you.
sure.
Got you. So then, oh, let me read more of this
Yeah,
because I
sure,
have
no
a
worries.
question. Music journey began, but his passion now strikes the entire bass spectrum. So did you find that punk edge in bass? Is that what happened?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in some tracks, and if you go to especially hardcore, or if you go
Yeah.
harder or breakcore, I love breakcore. I love me some good breakcore.
Yeah, of course.
And that with the breakcore specifically,
Well, it's
100%.
basically punk.
Yeah,
It's more
absolutely.
punk than electronic.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, yeah. And for me, it was like that, and then a bit of jungle, which is broken, so that you're not on the same note. Drum, I love drum and bass,
Yeah, me
but
too.
at the time for me, it was just a warm up
Yep.
music or workout music
Yep.
or something along
Yep.
those lines.
Yeah.
Jungle was where I'm going and I need a rave, and that's like,
Right.
because at the time when I was in my with the punk and in my hometown, I just didn't have the connections. I didn't know the people. There were some raves happening, but most of the raves were happening through the word of mouth, even, or like some flyers here and there.
Mhm.
So you need to know which locations to go to find the flyer and learn about that
Right,
event.
right.
And when I was like 16, yeah, I know the streets. I used to play guitar with my friends and collect money for beer that way.
Oh, okay.
You need to,
Wow.
well, you need to know how to get your way around. Like
I don't
nobody,
know.
nobody is
I don't
giving you free money or free drinks.
No, not at all.
So it was the same. When I was 16, I don't have any money. I have barely money to get back on the bus, and sometimes I even walked for that. It's just I just drank my money on the ticket, so I'm just like taking my walk.
Yeah.
So it was that times, and then when I moved to Vilnius and when I to the capital city, that's where I actually put the effort to meet the people, go into that music, go in that direction, understand the electronic, understand the whole spectrum of the electronic music, what it makes it different and all that. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, so that's what I like. This is what like, because for me the whole thing of subgenres and genres was not for name the track, but so that I can find the other stuff that sounds in
Right.
that direction.
Right.
Because how else I can find it? I mean, you
course.
can always look through labels, but if you look through labels and all that, but your initial starting point is video game music,
Mhm.
that label has been releasing drum and bass just because for that track or
Right.
for that video game, but not because they constantly mix with with the jungle drum and bass.
Do you remember the first time that you heard jungle music outside of a video game environment?
I like in
In
the
a
proper club.
loud,
Yeah.
loud.
That's what I like the most, because that's where the bass spectrum came in, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, I understand breakcore so good.
Yeah.
And then
Who's your favorite breakcore artist?
I have
Can you give me a top three?
our top three. Like you could, Igor is hardcore more, so I would
Yeah,
go.
but you can throw them in there.
Yeah, I would throw that in there. Um, there's one on the vinyl that I have. The track is Laffy Taffy. I love them because it's so funny.
Yeah.
and
Breakcore can be quite funny.
and there was one more guy. I can't remember. Like I'm so bad with
You
names.
have names?
I'm so bad
That's
with names.
fine,
Like
man.
I remember the vibe.
The
Uh,
reason
uh,
I ask is for people who are curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I would share. I have. I'll pull up my Discogs. Then I can throw the names around.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
without my Discogs,
No, it's just.
I
to be
wouldn't even know
helpful.
how many vinyls I have, to be
Right.
honest.
No, I can imagine. So you did start buying vinyl.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually bought my first vinyls before I had any decks to play on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
I just kind of liked the whole vibe about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like collecting DVDs or CDs, which is pretty popular at the time, especially the DVDs. It was still like a fading away
Yeah.
fad, but I just really like them. I liked the vibe about it. I
Mhm.
liked kind of understanding how to play with them.
Yep.
Then at some point I borrowed from the same. Actually, I borrowed the first deck from the friend who was joking around my last name that
Okay.
I came up with, and I
Yeah.
just realized that now. And I borrowed from him. It was Stanton decks, and I
Yeah.
didn't had the proper speakers.
Okay.
I had speakers from my computer, which were not the cheap plastic. It was wooden, but this still was not
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
And I was playing vinyl on it. I was learning about it a bit. It was going awful, like you'd expect. But I had fun, and that was it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I do want decks. And the decks I bought at the time, I still have them at home.
Oh, good for you, man.
Yeah, it's Technics SL 1200
1200s.
MK2.
Two. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
They're still good.
I think that's the last good ones they put out.
Mm.
The MK5s were pretty good when they came out, but after a while, there was something about them that just
Yeah, they
didn't
did. I think they
feel-
didn't last long. They
Yeah,
just
that as well.
like the MK2 is like last. Now I touched
I
Pioneer.
think that's what I have. I think I have MK2s. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I haven't looked at that in fucking 20 plus years. So
Oh. Yeah, exactly.
no
You just
idea.
have it. You know it plays. You need to balance
That's
it.
the
Some.
thing. Like you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You know, like I literally is the first time that I've just thought about how long I've had those turntables. I bought those in the States, and I've been here for 20 years. So
Crazy.
I don't know, 25 years. Yeah, maybe 25, maybe more. No, more. For sure more. 27 years, something like
Nah,
that.
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
What the fuck? Yeah. Okay, so any other bass spectrum type musics that you
Oh, I
like?
love like at the beginning. I was like, as you would expect, coming from punk. It's like all edge. I would call myself just straight up all edge. Like anything that goes in that anti, I would just jump on it. Like breakcore stuff, loved it. Like hardcore stuff, I still like it and love it. But it was like I was just jumping on it. If it's something like that, I immediately like, oh, it's my stuff. I'm going in. I'm going
So
in. And
here's
with
a question. So do you consider ambient music edgy?
No, I
No.
wouldn't consider it edgy. Like anything that goes against the grain. I mean, yeah, I get it with what you we're going with it. That it's
Yeah.
also very against the
Yeah.
grain,
Yeah.
and
I find a lot of people don't have patience for
I love
ambient
it. Like
music.
like every time I used to go to this festival called Tundra that they used to have it. I went there like 9 times out of 12 or 13. They did it. So like
Yeah.
I was regular by then.
Yeah.
One of the stage they always had was a chill stage.
Oh, nice.
Exactly. And you know what they play in the chill stage?
Ambient,
Exactly.
trip hop. Those
Yeah,
kinds of
all the
things.
chill vibes,
Chill
like
stuff.
all some guy with a lot of pedals playing flute or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
the
You would really like the Illbiant stuff. Have you ever heard of
no.
Illbiant stuff? There's a scene that came out of New York City.
Oh, crazy.
DJ Spooky was involved.
Okay, I know. Like, I mean,
and,
at least I heard it.
a few people, well, quite a few artists that were involved in that scene over there. But it was basically the idea was to like yeah, bring those like DIY aesthetics and that edge of punk with the edge
Oh,
of
so
hip hop,
so they have a bit
the edge of
noisy.
noise,
Yeah, okay, I
and
get
like
it.
and create this kind of ambient that was still ambient. It was still kind of like
Unstructured in a sense.
unstructured and filling space,
Mhm.
but very politicized.
Oh, okay, so it's with the
Uh,
like with the like punk.
Yeah, yeah, very punk in that sense. Even though a lot of those people were like came from the jazz scene,
Yeah, but
like experience, you know.
that's crazy. That's
but
nice.
that was
I'll need to
a
definitely.
crazy scene, man.
No, nice.
Probably one of the most famous people to come out of that, besides DJ Spooky, was, um, oh my God, am I gonna remember his name now? Bill. Oh my God, I'm not gonna remember his name now.
Don't worry
He
about
was
it.
a trumpist,
Okay.
very famous trumpeter. Bill Aswell. I think it's Bill Aswell.
All right.
Oh my God, I don't remember his name. But Yeah, look for it. Check it
Yeah,
out
I'll
because I think you
check out
might like
definitely.
that. It kind of died out.
Yeah, but like
But
you
the
never know
stuff
how it's
that's still
coming back.
around from that time is still golden. It's still really really good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
DJ Spooky became famous because he was kind of like he was one of those guys that was able to like make sense of everything that was going on. He was the only one that was really kind of like more of the DJ. Everyone else was more of a performer.
Okay,
So it was like he found a way to kind of make it all kind of fit together. So I used to love going to see Spooky live and
that's
stuff.
crazy.
But different
Yeah,
times.
yeah, from that, especially at my like 21, 23, like I would probably love it to death. It was
No,
called
yeah, it's headphone music, man.
I went. There was when I was already in Lithuania in Vilnius. The I went to one got metal event, and the main stage. This was like a big club,
Yeah.
and the main stage is metal. There's a lot of metal people, gods. Everything's nice. Everything's black, as you would expect. Like it's complete darkness with some lights here and there. And what they had in the other stage, because that what surprised me, they had two stages at the got metal event. And I'm like, that's not typical, let's say, because they want
Weird.
people,
Yeah.
because they want people at the main
Focused.
stage focused, and
Yeah.
that's the band and whatever. And they had noise in the other room.
Nice.
I spent all my event there,
Fucking nice.
and they had some live performer, and it was all chill. Like it was not heavy. It was more of people to change the vibe,
Yeah.
but it was so dark in what they played. Because it's like for goth metal
Yeah,
stuff, so it
yeah.
needs to fit the overall vibe, and
Right.
it was super dark ambient. Like
Man.
I wouldn't call it one of my. It's absolutely my favorite radio station. It's Soma FM.
Soma.
You know it?
Yeah, I do know it. Yeah.
There, I have never ever saw a better radio station
Yeah.
than Soma FM.
Yeah.
And one of the
The problem I have now with radio, man, is that there's so much stuff out there to listen to.
oh yeah, absolutely.
There's so much NTS.
But that's
there-
with
you know, like-
with everything. Like yeah, NPS. I always follow the radio. They do those videos with the tiny desk
God,
stuff.
man.
NPR, sorry.
Yeah, NPR as well.
I
Yeah.
love them. And if you
Yeah.
want to, like, yeah, there's like, it's funny when people say there's some anything that they don't have anything anymore. What they used to have it. That's nonsense. They have it, but now you need to look for it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
always needed to look for
You
it, but
always
just
needed to,
but
yeah.
just some of the stuff was just like
Yeah.
very in front of
Yeah,
you.
you know, that's kind of look. This is a topic that we can talk about
Sure.
as like a little out, and we go.
Yeah.
Then we'll go back to your bio.
Oh, how you feel?
But
It's like,
you know, recently I was talking to someone young, right? Because I'm old,
yeah.
right? And I was telling them about how this person was not able to understand or perceive what I was talking about. And what I was talking about, I felt was very important. And so I was trying to explain to this person how important it was, and they were not understanding it. Now, the situation was why I think the fact that kids buy music online is affecting the way we hear drum and bass at parties.
Absolutely.
He didn't understand that. He was like, "What do you mean? You buy what you like."
Yeah, that's the thing. You used to buy albums just because you like few songs on the album.
And here's the thing. I was trying to explain to him when I had to buy music before, I had to go to record stores. And when you go to a record store, you would see something on a wall and not know who it was and go, I don't know, I'll listen to it. Right? And then when you buy stuff, the record store wants to sell more music. So they would say, oh, you're buying this, you're buying this. Oh, you know what? I think you would like this. And then they would present to you different artists. And sometimes, if you became friends with them, then they would push you. They would say, I know you love this, but you should check this out.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
really good.
Yeah.
Right? And that happened to me every single time I went, and I can't even count the number of times that I spent in a record store. Fucking millions. It was like every other day I was in a record store. Um, that gave me this like full library
Yeah, and
of different vibes and different like corners of the music that I would not have gotten if I just went to Beatport or Bandcamp and followed the artist that I like.
yeah, absolutely.
Like I feel like that's a huge loss.
Yeah, it's they're still trying. Like if you look at Spotify, they're trying to replicate it. That's why you got all the
Yeah,
suggestions. But the
yeah.
suggestions are always, how to say, how to word it
Algorithmic.
correctly.
It's
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
necessarily a friend
It's
who's
it's it's
saying
it's not a bad thing to have
no, no,
algorithms
no.
as
Of
long as
course
you
not.
know how they work,
Of course.
But the problem with like most of the algorithms, let's say it like that, is that they tailor it in a way not to suggest you what you would like it, but what they want to sell you more.
Exactly.
And the record labels didn't care what they sell it as long
Exactly.
as like, oh, you like jungle, we have this stack of jungle, here you
Right.
go.
Right.
Now Spotify, like, hey, you like hip hop, do you want to listen to other the same sounding hip
Yep.
hop? Or like when they select a playlist and they want the playlist to be exactly the
Yep.
same level and everything,
Yep.
and then you're like,
Yep.
yeah, you're not getting the full sound.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I 100%
Yeah,
agree.
no,
It
it's
changed
a
very
shame.
much.
It's a shame.
I,
I know it is what it is.
it's like
It is what it is. But I do notice a big difference.
yeah, absolutely, like yeah, the things change.
As far as the output
Yeah,
when you go to parties, man. Now you can go to a party, and you can have three DJs play not the same tracks, but the same vibe
yeah.
for 3 hours, and you're like, man,
You know about the
if you're playing jungle, I get it because maybe you're playing classics and we've heard them a million times. I understand. But if you're playing drum and bass, you should be playing future shit. You should be playing stuff that's new, stuff that's classic, stuff
Oh,
that's
yeah, it's-
awesome, but mostly stuff that you like.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that's what makes the set you, right? But then when you hear these sets where like all these DJs are playing the same tunes, it doesn't matter how good they are as DJs, you're still hearing the same tune.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
So you're like,
what's the chase and status track? I like. I'm so good with names. Like I would play. I would have it in playlists just to pick it through.
yeah,
What's the chase and status track
I
that's
don't know.
released like I don't know a few years ago,
I have no idea.
and it went nuts.
Yeah,
Any drum and bass and jungle event, even
Yeah.
non-jungle
Yeah.
event, we had that track somewhere.
yeah,
And then you're like, yeah, it's like I know how it looks from the label perspective. I know how it looks from the artist perspective. They're
Right.
absolutely happy about it
Mhm.
because there's just so many people. There's you can't
Exactly.
really play like as a DJ you can play your same 1 hour set at 5 different parties and you have people coming up saying like, wow, it's such a fresh set.
I know, man.
And it's just because the people are changing while
Yeah.
for you it's sounding like, oh, I'm running this track like to
Yeah.
death now.
Yeah,
But for a bunch of people who came
yeah,
in a different time and different party,
Yeah.
they're like, oh my god, I never heard this. Is such a cool track.
right. Yeah, I used to have this competition with friends where we would meet to DJ and stuff, and
Sick.
I had one of my skills was to like make them like tracks that they didn't.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
What do
absolutely.
you what track is this? Like, yeah, you told me this track was shit, and now you're oh, come on, which one is it? Look, you know. And I used to love doing that. And you know, for example, so okay, so let me ask you this: do you think young people are buying drum and bass?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Listen, do you think they're buying drum and bass that they're not DJing at parties?
Uh,
That they're only DJing at home?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're kind of limiting the people that are buying music. I think more people buying music that are not DJing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about DJs because the fact that they
Oh.
perform out in clubs.
I met both. Like
Yeah.
I met people who
So they're-
download and you hear that they don't have the ear to differentiate the difference, and until they put up on the PA system that everybody can hear that they're playing a ripped off MP3
Right.
or you ripped off from YouTube.
Right.
I think most of people just want the availability to listen. As far as DJs goes, it's just now. I think it's just so wide across the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Like I still remember people getting angry about people playing from controllers. oh my God,
I remember.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
like
it's really funny.
yeah. Now looking back, it's like what?
What a
Like
waste.
yeah, you can make a good mix on your controller just
Yeah.
as on any vinyl and whatever. But I get their point where they're coming from. They're just afraid that the DJ is not putting the effort enough,
Yep.
like what they needed to put in effort to make it out. I get it. Still can put in effort. It's just like it became more available, and since it became more available, I think that's the thing where a lot of I think there's a lot of young people who are playing and DJing straight out of Spotify or straight out of what's the other service called?
Tidal.
No, not
Beatport.
streaming, but the Beatport. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Beatport I was looking for because they even had a DJ specific.
Yeah.
The record box has links with the because I think for them it just gives the access because all they care about is the creating the vibe, which is I think a good focus to focus on. They just kind of let everything go to the background. Everything else is not important, especially if you look at the house parties. Nobody gives a shit. It's just like if you create a good vibe, no, you can play from your phone,
Right.
which is I think that's the
Right.
essence
Right.
when you boil it down to the party.
Yeah.
If you can make people jump, it doesn't matter if you're scrolling on phone and doing that.
Yep. I agree.
But coming to to that thing about the people being influenced by how they select the music, I think the biggest influence is social media, like the Instagram. I mean, it was always more or less the same, just in different form. It's just like the TikTok, and I had that experience with the in Sonar, I think last year or 2 years ago, when they had it, and I went to listen to Solomon.
Two?
I think his name is Solomon,
I don't know.
and he's like very big star on the. And I thought like, I want to know like what
Yeah.
makes him a star, like
Yeah.
what's this all about? And he was switching tracks every 30 seconds, which I would think as a jungle DJ, wow, my God, he's such a good mixture, and he's like going nuts. But the thing is, it was like scrolling through TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
It was just like a build up drop and then next scroll with a build up and drop on a different track. And I'm like,
Yeah, fucking boring.
no, I it's not for me. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
boring.
But that's when I felt like, oh, this is like I'm scrolling TikTok.
Right, got you.
And I know he's definitely better than that. I know like he has other sets where he played like I don't know 3 hour set or 6 hour set. Like, he's not just a superstar. But in that event in that space, I was like, oh my, he's just like switching tracks, just not whatever. They're kind of sounding
Yeah.
together all good, but it's not creating a vibe. It's kind of killing the vibe.
Yeah. I feel like your influences say a lot about what you look for.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
And I know for me, so I didn't go to like punk shows, so I don't know how punk nights start. I don't know if the music is softer. I have no idea.
It's never. It just goes in straight.
just goes
That's
straight in.
yeah. That's the
Because
whole.
with my background is mainly like house music, like New York house, and there's a lot of warm up.
Yeah, it's a lot of build
a
up.
lot of build up, because it's like you've got this varied crowd. You got a crowd you have 15-year-old kids in there, and then you have 50-year-old people, and when you warm up that crowd, it literally is like going to a gym and warming up before you do anything big. And when you get a proper warm up by 3-4 o'clock in the night, when it's prime time, you've got the whole room going crazy. And if you ever have a DJ playing really hard right at the beginning,
No, it's gonna kill us.
it kills the whole night. Not just that hour, but it kills the whole night, because people subconsciously understand tension.
Yeah, of course.
And
You
if
always
you
need to
start
have
the
tension
night with
release.
really high tension,
You
the
can
tension doesn't feel tense.
Yeah, you can still go about it, like, because you always can create attention. If you start the night really heavy, you can go there. But if you go in the middle somewhere and then you go down, then you're kind of telling the people that was the peak. Now finish your beers and start thinking about going out. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like when I went to the first drum and bass and stuff events, and I realized, like, yeah, it's in the beginning, it's just warming up,
It's
chill,
warm
some
up.
nice dancing,
Yeah.
some nice whatever,
Yeah.
drinking, chatting, talking.
Yeah.
And then in Lithuania, the peak is like 1, 2 a.m.
Okay.
And and then at 1 2 a.m. like, okay, now it's ready for the break, or now we can go in. Like, oh, I remember FFF. I love
Oh
that
yeah,
guy,
Triple
and
F.
I met him in Lithuania.
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
Nice guy.
Absolutely
Yeah.
love it. Love his tracks. I recently
Yeah.
bought
I'm
some
a
of
big
this.
fan. Yeah.
So some of his tracks on vinyl. I got
Yeah.
it on vinyl because I usually buy just in packs, and one track on Bandcamp, something he
Yeah.
remixed for Sully, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I love Sully.
I love Sully. Yeah. Well, we can talk about all that. There's a lot of stuff there.
Absolutely.
But let's see. With 5 years of experience as a jungle stage manager, this is with the guy you're talking about. What was his name?
Dr. Jungle, but that's
Dr. Jungle.
with this 5 years was for one specific event that was not with him. I booked him every single time, so
Yeah.
he played every single time there.
Nice.
But that was for Revolution Festival,
Okay.
and I was working with them at the time for 5 years until it basically ended. So,
How was that experience?
well, it was super stressful,
Yeah.
obviously. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
It was super stressful, like you would expect, like with any events and all
Yeah.
that. But it's interesting in a way, because when working, it's not an event anymore. It's a big event,
Yeah.
meaning there is people working on your stage, both from the technical perspective. I mean, the audio engineering. You have people working on the stage building itself, on the making the stage look nice. You can't just go out and rent some periphery and like, oh look, this is a nice stage. Most of the time you have to actually make it
Yeah.
and then put it there, and then you have it. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't just pop up.
Yeah, so you have people there working, and then you have 3 or 4 stages. So every single stage has, okay, the sound guys go between, move that, but the people who are working on making this stage look nice, they can't make other stage look nice in parallel, because like whatever decorations are needed for in Lithuania, we have one of the best Psytrance decorations every single time. Like every trip to the forest prepared by Psytrance guy is an experience, even if you don't take
Wow.
drugs, because the whole thing is moving. It's amazing. Like
That's
it's really,
lovely.
yeah, they always go extra, like so much extra.
So cool. They're so talented, man.
Yeah, so that, and you have teams of people working, then you have multiple, then you have logistics team, then you have the hospitality team,
Right.
then there's people working with the food and eating and all that. And if you're booking an artist, you kind of need to work a bit with everybody, because you
Yeah.
need with the logistics for picks up DJ times and everything. Then with the food, because for him it should be free and all that stuff.
Right.
And the hospitality hosting
Yeah.
is another story that,
Oh,
like,
tell me about it.
exactly, like there's like all the stories that you talk off camera with people is almost hosting related.
Yeah, I know.
And all that, and it's been stressful, but it's been really nice. I'm really happy to have worked with them. I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot with them as well,
Yeah.
because we had, like, one of the years we didn't get a permission from the local government, and we had to move, even though we kind of knew we were gonna be getting, our lawyers were working and everything was fine, and then they just switched, and we needed to move
So
the
you stopped
festival
doing this job?
into, yeah, because the festival, like, before the corona, we didn't do it,
Gotcha.
and then
Gotcha.
faded out. It wasn't. It's really difficult now to make, especially something as big as festival. I'm really hoping everything goes well for all the Nisha festivals that I saw happening
Yeah.
this year, because some of the festivals attract, like, I don't know, a big festival is 5,000 people.
Okay.
A commercial festival, big commercial, has more, obviously, like,
Yeah.
20.
Right.
I think 50 was the biggest one, but I might be lying. Like,
Yeah.
this something might be
Yeah.
coming, but, like, even if a Nisha festival has like a 5,000 people,
Yeah.
it's a big festival.
No, 5,000 is big, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and those Nisha have less, so I really, really hope that everything goes really good for them this year, so that they can start building the stuff back up, because that means then next year you get like double the amount, because people just like festivals. People like to go out and
Yeah.
sleep in a tent, get drunk outside, and
course.
then come back, go
Yeah.
take a pee in the forest,
It's great.
and go. Yeah, absolutely, I love it
Yeah.
too. When the weather allows it, and
Even when it's not, depending on the mood you're in. You
well,
know,
yeah,
if you're
well,
in
I
the
would say
mood-
depending on the drugs or the clothes.
drugs, yeah. I'm not a drug person, but
So it's
but
so
I
for you it's close all the time, like.
for me, I can have fun regardless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's just
Absolutely.
the
Like,
way I am.
some of the best place. One of the festival, Tundra. When I went 1 year to Tundra, it was raining from Thursday to Sunday with not single stop. I was muddy from Thursday.
Did you get sick?
No. I was drinking a lot
Awesome.
of alcohol.
Oh, that helps.
That
That
helped
helps.
me.
That
Yeah, drugs, I guess, also because I woke up one day after one drinking.
Yeah.
I woke up in my tent and my thing was half in water already. So I went to sleep in the car.
Do you know that reminds me of? Do you watch football at all?
Yeah, I used to watch it a lot.
Used to? Did
Now
you
I'm
see
not
what
a-
happened this weekend?
No.
Right now is the Euro Cup.
Yeah, I heard.
Is this is a guy who recorded himself because he fell asleep during a game
Oh yeah.
and no one woke him up. He woke up at 5 a.m. in the stadium by himself, and he's like shivering.
Yeah, I can
'Cause
imagine.
he's cold. Big rooms are cold.
Yeah, crazy.
And he's like, oh, I'm by myself. And then it turns out it ended up in the news because he couldn't find a way out.
Yeah, normal.
Everything's closed.
Crazy. Wow, but how like
So that reminds me of that.
Wow, security and like how did yeah,
I
but
have
like
no idea.
but I woke up in my tent, so that's
Yeah,
already at the time I could wake up at that tent as well,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't be happy. But everybody was drowning. It was so muddy. Like I was leaving on Sunday, and we couldn't. The cars couldn't
move?
None of the
Oh,
car.
no.
So the festival organizer hired the truck, not the trucks, the tractors,
Yeah.
and because it's in
To
the middle
pull
of ours
out.
to pull them out, and they
Yeah.
made the guys working the tractors that Sunday
They made money.
so much money because everybody was just throwing money at them to drag them out, and they
Yeah.
just drag out. I drive out of the festival, stop
Yeah.
at the first shop, and up to knees, my it's all mud.
Did you destroy the shoes?
I didn't have them on by the time already. I
smart.
was
That's
like,
better.
no, they were muddy in my trunk. Not that smart. No.
All right, let's go back to this. Always on the hunt for the next big track.
Well,
Dubbin-
it's a bit of a PR statement for the next big track. I just like,
Well, that's like saying that this DJ will entertain you.
yeah, that's why I say like. this
Dubbin
big-
ensures each of his mixes is unique and fresh. His dynamic sets have earned him frequent airplay in Lithuanian national radio station. How did that happen?
Well, because I was with Dr. Jungle all the time. Like to be honest, like to be completely fair, it was because I was with him all the time, and he was running the show since forever. He's been on the show. I've been on that show to talk about it just in general about the events or whatever. And he heard me a lot of times. We did a bunch of mixes together. We played together a bunch of times. He was here actually, like. My memory is so fizzy because I had so many people over like a month ago or so for a week.
Okay.
Yeah, we played in La Pau
Oh, wow.
because that was the single event that happening, and I'm like, yeah, and he just wants to play because
Yeah.
like we didn't care at all like where to play like I mean we played at home obviously, but
Yeah.
like just to go out, and we went
Yeah.
there, we had fun, we played together back to back.
Yeah.
We had 2 hours each, so each hour we played just back to back
That's
session because
sick,
it's always nice.
How do you feel about La Pau?
For me, it's a warehouse event.
Yeah.
It's how I would call it a proper warehouse,
Yeah.
like a proper underground. If
Yeah.
like punk shows, there.
I was really surprised how well presented everything was.
It depends on the day, but other than that, yeah, I had some of the best shows there as well. And some of like. I don't want to call it bad shows because it's not a bad show. It was just a more empty crowd.
Right.
But I didn't care because I had fun, because you can play a bit different stuff. You can put yourself. And one time I played after some punk band.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly. And well, the punk band, they were too drunk to perform properly. So it was a bit funny to watch. And there were some legends. So it was a bit unfortunate in that regard. But people enjoyed it, so like who cares?
Whatever.
Exactly. And because of all that, they run late, like an hour and a half. Well, I mean, surprise, some legends drunk,
Yeah.
they're gonna let them go whatever.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, whatever, do your stuff. I'm just gonna drink, smoke, and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
chill out around and a bit think about my. And when I came up to play, I started playing, I think, with the Blade Runner track.
Oh, really?
because I wanted just to go in with something super bassy,
Yeah, yeah,
just to
yeah.
put
Nice.
because punk is all the highs and none of the lows, like with
Exactly.
the and then some
Smart.
mids, and I
Smart.
just wanted to go in with something fully bass
Bass.
and as little
Yeah.
highs as needed, so
Yeah.
that it's just a complete opposite of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the rest is like
Is this
whatever.
the room where there's that big sound system on the wall
Hmm.
and there's the bar? Okay. Yeah. That's where I played recently, somewhere last year, towards the end of the year. And my experience there was very strange, man. Very strange. It was the first time that I was a bit confused.
Oh yeah, it can give you that,
The first
absolutely.
time that never happened to me at a squat party.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's a squat party. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what the word I was looking when I was
yeah,
looking for there. It's a proper squat rave.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's very cool space. I
yeah,
love the space.
yeah. Love
The
it.
sound was cool.
Yeah, I never had to.
Um, but yeah, I
I could nitpick about the sound. I could nitpick about the bar
no, I'm
placements,
not trying to nitpick. I'm
or
talking about like the vibe. The crowd was not really the day that I was there wasn't really there for drum and bass jungle.
it's with the raves. I had that like
Yeah,
since like fully underground. Let's say it
yeah,
like that. That's not promoted. That just flyers and all that
yeah.
with no commercial. Let's say the
Right.
aspect of it. I feel like most of them are like that. Even if I
It's
see
really weird
hardcore.
though because growing up, every rave I've ever heard, ever played at,
Mm.
it was like the harder and weirder,
Mm?
the better.
Yeah, yeah.
And here it was the opposite.
Oh, okay.
It was
Funny.
like and then when I got off the decks and the next guys were playing techno, they all went crazy. It was like that's what they were there for. So
Okay.
I was
Funny.
like,
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
wow,
that's.
that's never happened to me
Yeah, but
before.
that's an
And I'm not
organizer.
critiquing.
Yeah.
It was more like my experience.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
crowd had fun, so that works for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
But I was just like, oh wow, I never left the rave feeling like
Mm.
I didn't belong.
Yeah,
That
yeah, that's
that
weird.
was a weird.
Yeah, I can
feeling, man.
imagine
Like,
that's. Yeah, I mean, like I played there like in total like 6, 7 times by now
yeah,
because
I love the
I played
space,
where
man.
they had it before that,
Okay,
before La Pau. Like
the
I
place that
always
was
call it La
down.
Pau, but
Yeah,
it's
I know
just
what you mean. I know what you mean.
they move it around. I loved it. Like every single time I played, I loved it. I had empty crowds. I had people not fully reacting to it,
Mhm.
and somebody else jump in. They change the tune, and then everybody goes wild. And I'm like, maybe I should have played Mandy more and techno, and then they would have reacted. But then again, that's on me.
Yeah.
I don't feel it like it's on promoter too much or anything.
No.
Maybe the people turn up, took wrong drugs, and they decided they want techno instead of drum and bass now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything really can. I always pointed out to drugs, but that's the smallest part out of all, I would
Mhm.
say.
I'm curious. What is your opinion of the? Because I know you came to a couple of our parties.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What is your opinion about our parties, the ones that we were putting
The
together?
jungle one.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I still feel regret for not coming to the Sully one. Well, I
Sully
wasn't
one.
able one, but I was like, oh my God, they're bringing Sully.
Yeah.
I need to go there, and I don't know what, but I was not able. I think I was traveling. Because
Yeah.
the first 3 to 4 years, I was like out of town for every 2 weeks.
No, I'm asking more from the musical point of view.
Oh, I love
Because I
one.
see how like your musical tastes.
I liked it. Sometimes the only thing that threw me off a
Yeah.
few times, and I don't remember, was it a jungle party
Okay.
or it was some other jungle party that I went.
Uh-huh.
But you probably have been there. And the only thing that threw me off was when I'm in the warm up stage, I'm listening to drum and bass, and I'm waiting for the rest to start playing jungle at like 2-3 a.m. And then at 2 a.m. I get dubstep,
Right.
and I'm like,
That's
okay,
probably our party.
I
That was
like
probably
the
our party.
I like the dubstep.
Yeah.
Like I have no problems
Yeah.
with it,
Yeah.
but 2 a.m. is a weird time to play it at it because I'm already building up for more,
Right.
and then like because the peak time is like what 3-4 a.m.
Yeah. 3 o'clock is peak time.
Yeah, and then I'm like, yeah, I want like peak for the
Yeah.
peak to hit, but I think that was just once.
No,
at one time?
I can explain it. I'm not gonna do it now.
Yeah, of
It's
course,
not- it's not
obviously.
necessary. But later, if you want, I can explain to you what
Sure,
the,
yeah, I can
the
imagine
way
there are
we
things
did the
from.
programming and stuff. It was on purpose.
Okay,
It was
yeah,
on purpose.
but that's the single
But
thing.
that's why I was asking because
That's the single thing I picked up as I would say a critique of a different
no.
opinion.
I don't even consider it a critique.
But-
I consider it an experience.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
And but
it was-
everything else, I was like fully in tune, fully in love.
Yeah.
Like I come in, it's drum and bass playing, jungle. Because for me, especially at the beginning, and because I'm older since I moved, obviously,
Yeah.
is that I go to a party and if I don't like the music,
Yep.
I'll just stay there for longer.
Yeah.
Because the music will change. Either he'll change the track and I
Right.
love the track. The
Right.
DJ will change and the other will start playing
Right.
different type of drum. A lot of times I have problem with deep drum and bass. That puts me to sleep.
Yep.
And that's the thing I avoid playing in parties
Yep.
a lot more because that's my perception,
Yeah.
which is absolutely wrong because I've been to so many deep drum and bass parties where people going nuts for it.
Right.
But it's just not that
Wait,
too
but
much.
when you say deep, are you talking about like
The minimal one, more like the
like
one
the stuff
that
that's
just
popular now?
yeah. So
Okay,
some
okay,
of it
okay.
that
Yeah,
that
for me
gets,
that's not deep. That's
yeah, but
you know,
you know
deep
what
is-
you know
is-
what I mean. It's
I know what you mean. It's the new deep. Yeah.
It's in that regard, and there's plenty of good of it. Like
Yeah,
obviously,
sure.
like with anything, and
The-
the one that
only
I would
the
love.
only problem I have with it is that it's very samey.
Yeah,
That's
like
the only problem I have.
that's
with
the problem with the
it.
dubstep.
Besides,
for
it's
me.
not very creative.
That's the dubstep for me. A lot of times,
Oh, well,
if I listened for
there
a-
we have different tastes.
I mean, I love a lot of it. There is like a lot
Come
of.
tomorrow night.
Yeah, you're gonna play dubstep.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I thought it's 140 night.
Mhm.
I thought it's drum and bass in
No,
jungle.
it's garage. It's a big karma.
Oh, it's Big Karma. Okay, yeah, because like they did so many. I see like yeah,
I know.
I wanna go with that.
Recently, they're doing so many things.
Yeah,
man.
it's amazing. Like
know,
for me,
good
it's
for
like
them. It's fucking
absolutely
awesome.
love it.
Shit, and I love to play. So shit, I can't.
Yeah,
complain.
exactly. Like they hit me up. Hey, man, you
Hey,
down
I'm-
to play?
I'm in, man.
Man, you just tell me. Like
Yeah,
what
you know,
to
seeing
just tell
you
me.
play last time. Speaking of garage and subconscious, I was so proud, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I was like, oh man, someone has, excuse my language, but someone has the balls to play this music. And then literally that a few days later, I went online and I was like, okay, who unashamedly plays jungle music in Barcelona? Because I want to know if you're out here. Of course, a bunch of people thought that I was looking to do a party. And
Yeah, that's
a
it.
bunch of people started writing me like, hey, I thought you stopped doing parties. And I'm just like,
That's what the party is.
why do we always have to go to that? I just want to know who's involved, like
Yeah,
who's
I'm looking for
buying
peop-
jungle, who's
Yeah.
actually, because I love drum and bass and I play all types of drum and bass.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no problem doing that because it's part of me. But jungle is something that's very unique in Barcelona because
Yeah, it
most
breaks
people don't play it.
because they can't dance it because they don't feel
Exactly.
they can't catch the
They-
rhythm as fast because the rhythm is broken
It takes
intentionally.
Work. It takes work.
Yeah.
It takes DJing know how to present it to them.
Yeah, I still think I suck at it most of the part in presenting to people, but
I liked your. I noticed that you were looking at the crowd.
oh yeah, of course I look like at least
Yeah.
like I don't need
Yeah,
to
I could
be a
see you-
slave of the crowd,
I
but
saw you playing the vibe, and I was like, yeah, that's the way you do it, man. That's
Because
the way
at
you
the-
do it.
like coming back to the same, it doesn't matter. You can scroll your phone and play the tracks from your phone. If the crowd going nuts,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's apparently all you need. And
Yeah.
when playing, so I'm not a slave to the crowd because I still want to show my stuff. I still played Rag Attack, the last track,
Mhm.
because I had that idea in my mind, and I played it, and I got a lot of feedback for it,
Yeah.
which is honestly fully like, yeah,
Yeah.
they're right.
Yeah.
It's not Lapao. I shouldn't play that there
Well, I don't take that opinion. I think
because it was very Rag Attack track.
yeah, but so what? You
Yeah, but that
if-
was my
if
thing,
That's
like,
what you feel like playing.
Yeah, that was the feel I had
Especially if
for
it's the last track.
yeah, exactly. That's the feel I had for closing it down.
Yeah, fuck it.
Like yeah, and I was like, on fuck it, like play, listen to some
Yeah.
psytrance 404 Rag Attack
Fuck it.
track,
Fuck it. If that's what
and
you
it was
wanna
from Mandy Dextros. I love her. She's amazing.
do. No, you don't have to give any explanations, man. Like honestly, as a DJ, we have a job to entertain, but we also have a job to educate, man.
Yeah, that's true.
And you never know, man. Like I've had many sets. I've been lucky to have a lot of sets where people will come up to me and ask me for specific tunes,
Oh, that's
and DJs or not DJs.
Yeah, but the DJs.
What is that track? What is this thing? And you're like, well, can you explain to me?
Yeah, which one?
And then you feel like you've done your job.
Yeah, that's
you
sick.
don't know if you open up a world for that person.
Yeah, that's so
don't
sick.
know. And because you never get that feedback. Oh, ever since that moment, my life has changed. You don't get that,
No.
right? But it could happen.
It could happen. Yeah, it's
could happen,
only time can tell. Because when he will back 5 years ago, well, why I'm listening to a lot of drum and beat? Oh yeah, because I was at the party and got that ID.
Yeah.
It's more a retrospective thing than looking than putting in for them to.
So important as a DJ. So for me, man, like I prefer a DJ who knows how to listen to the crowd, to listen to the moment, but also be like, yeah, well now check this out.
You need to play in some.
You need to have those moments.
I can't play a set without playing some Sully at some point. I just
Sully,
love.
you hear that?
I just love that guy because or Tim Reaper for the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I would like to play more Coco Bryce, but he's like very specific.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of his vinyls.
Yeah.
But he's like sound specific, so I play for mixes more when for example,
no, he's very song structure. Stuff.
Yeah. But like for example, Sully. I can mix him with anything.
Yeah. My
his...
only problem with Sully is that as a DJ, like skill wise, I like to blend tracks. I like to mix and match.
Anything
and with Sully, it's kind of hard to do that because there's so many things going on.
Like which track?
No, but of course you can do it.
That's the track I play. The track I play from him.
I'm not even criticizing him because I absolutely love the music.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love.
But I'm just saying that selfishly as a DJ, it's like drop. There you go. Enjoy the 3 minutes.
Yeah, you can't mix through the drop. Yeah, that's for sure.
So
like you can mix as much.
Enjoy it, and I'll see you when the track finishes, and I can throw the next tune on.
Yeah, but it's so sick. Yeah, that's true.
I'm very curious about. Well, yeah, I guess this goes into a different topic, but I as a producer, I'm very curious about his mix downs. I don't understand how he makes his tracks sound the way they sound.
I think he just has, he just has a lot of space.
No, not a lot of space.
I mean,
it's filled in with all the edits.
Yeah, but like sonically, when you listen, it feels like a big. Yeah, absolutely.
I really want to know how he does. So that's a question. Are you interested in producing music?
I do play around with it.
Oh, you do?
Absolutely. Like I have a guitar. I have 2 electric guitars. I have a bass guitar at home.
Oh shit.
So I play with them around. I got some guitar pedals. I got some synthesizer. I got the Roland set of Boutique. I love them because they're so small.
Yeah.
Like I don't use that for production per se. I use it for myself.
Yeah.
And when you sit down to make something, you kind of have the understanding. Like for me, it's all about the understanding.
That will help you.
Absolutely.
When you get that, it'll help you.
Yeah, I'm looking. I already have it saved in pictures, favorites with my cat, so that I remember.
Look it up online, then you're gonna be like, "Thank you, Egris."
Yeah, I'll pick it up, and then like all that stuff. Like by the reason I got synthesizer, I buy the cheap stuff. Like as long as it's good enough, of course, not to buy the cheapest stuff available.
I know what you mean.
Because my
whatever
goal,
you can get.
Yeah, I mean I could get more and with time and money, but. It's just about learning the stuff, learning about the synthesis, understanding the synthesis, understanding the FM synthesis.
Or you can do it the way I do it, which is I'm a DJ first.
Oh yeah, of course.
So
like
all I try and do is
either blend the track.
Does this sound good to me?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it's just like play around. I like this sound. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. With that regard,
I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, no. With that, I sit down, I play, and I play. Oh, I like the sound. Let's build around it. Yeah, 100%. But when I sit down to make a track, I just like do drag and drop. 30 seconds, I have a track.
Nice.
Because I there's just build up of everything, then I need to put it down.
Build up of what?
Like I'm playing with this synthesizer, I'm playing with this guitar on this kind of tone, I'm playing with this bass or with this bass synthesizer, and then at one point like, oh, this is the idea that's formulating, and then I sit down and just put it down with no mix downs, nothing at all.
Yeah.
Just have it like, oh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Because ideas come and go, and it's like for me that kind of work, which I call creative work.
Yeah.
I just don't like the term creative work because it's still work. And
Yeah, for sure.
it's like a lot of people, it's not my job. I'm not getting paid for it, so it's just for my entertainment first before it's anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I take it like when I have an idea, when I have a moment, and all that. But that's not. But I don't think that's a right way to look if you wanna be a producer, because you wanna be working all the time, or well, obviously not all of the working hours, but as much as possible, so that when you get hit by idea, you do absolutely everything there. You're like, oh, you get hit by an idea by just fiddling around in the studio for 3 hours, and you've been fiddling, I don't know, for a week every single day. And when you get hit by an idea, you will be happy about that idea. But that's my thing. I know there's so many different people working on having different mentality in terms of the music production. Because
Sorry,
I had
don't
the
mean
chance.
to cut you off.
No,
I
don't
just want
worry.
to make sure everything is running.
Yeah, sure, no worries. It's just that I had a chance. I'm lucky enough to have been in studios with different kind of musicians, with the rock groups, metal
Right.
bands, some hip hop artists.
How long have you been dabbling, like playing around with making music?
Since I came to Barcelona, pretty
Oh,
much.
okay.
Yeah, that's what one of, because I cut off partying.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say like Barcelona is not a party city to me.
Okay.
I look at Berlin, London,
Yeah.
and Lithuania as a party thing, because
What do you mean by party?
because they have a rave every single
Oh, okay.
weekend.
I see what you're saying.
They have like
Yeah.
all kind of genres every single week. Here, if I want to go to party,
Yeah.
like if you're looking for house,
Yeah, right.
and
or
even
techno,
then,
yeah.
if you
know,
know
I
your
know.
house, you're just gonna be like, this is a bit cheesy. If you're going with a group of friends, then nobody cares
The
what.
majority is gonna be shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you need to look into, like, if you're in
Yeah.
London, man,
No, I know.
just throw the phone anyway direction it's gonna land in the rave.
I agree. I understand what you're saying.
But just from that, but that was my goal. I want to chill out, and it's like boom, 5 years gone, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been chilling for 5 years now.
So, so you got the bug to play around, write music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At some point, it kind of comes like I need to sit down and do
Did
something.
you finish any music at all?
No, that's the point, because it's like at the end I need to kind of do a job on it, which is mixing down, mastering. Well, I would also mastering as myself. I wouldn't even, but mixing down, at least for as a beginning producer, it's a must to some degree before you can outsource it as well, because the other guy will not take your idea and put it fully the way you would do it. You need to kind of get
Show
it
me
there.
some ideas, man. I just like to hear what comes out of your brain.
So it's usually UK garage, surprisingly.
Is usually what?
UK garage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like I go in such a
Nice.
different direction, and I'm like,
But
it
that's
just
good that you're honest with yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because even though that's not necessarily the music that you DJ.
I DJ UK garage as well a bit.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I did in the in Overtone.
Oh, you did?
Once. I loved it there. Like I love the guys who were running the whole Overtone thing. So for me, it's like I was just blessed that they invited me as well, and I had a chance to play a lot of UK garage that I like, which is a lot of basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I played at Big Karma event as well, and I loved it there as well. And I was playing UK garage there.
Oh, good for you, man. I had no idea.
Yeah, I love it. Most of people didn't, because I have, I think, just one mix recorded in UK garage, Breaky.
No, it's not that. It's just like me personally, just, I try and go to events because I love going to events for me, for my music, to hear my music. So I don't necessarily look at the DJs that are going to be performing.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
just like, I want to go out. Who's performing? Oh, cool. Great. I get to see this. So yeah, I must have just missed the day you were performing.
Yeah, it wasn't that many
Yeah.
times, so it's
That's cool though, man.
yeah, absolutely, I love it. Like DJing, like I DJ reggae. I played many socios here.
Okay.
Love it. Amazing, different crowd,
Right,
different,
yeah.
completely
Right.
different listening experience, different DJing experience.
Yeah.
Because I always like I had a chance, I think, in Lithuania maybe a few times to play in the terrace where people eat
Mm-hmm.
and to play some lighter liquid drum and bass and stuff.
Nice.
I would do it in a blink of an eye if I could do anywhere liquid event in open air for the people that are eating. Because I love it when you're as a DJ and even as a music you play is like third of priority at best, because they're meeting with people and they're eating. So like if they're drinking, you're dropping already by one level.
Right.
And I love it because then and you're not there to prove yourself, because they're eating there. They're not looking for entertainment.
Do you feel that pressure when you're DJing, say, a jungle event? Do you feel the pressure to prove yourself?
It depends. Like, I mean, to prove myself in a sense, to not make any stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need that just to prove to myself more than like, oh, I'm not that stupid. Like, I can take up my USB, not the other DJ's USB. You know, mixing and matching and just being prepared for the event. That's for me
How do you prepare for the event?
I usually select around 50 tracks.
Okay.
If it's 1 hour event.
Yeah.
So that I have a choice.
Okay.
And before in Lithuania, when I used to play more oftenly, so like I knew that like it's coming, so it would naturally build up in the playlists. I still have like 30 playlists currently, different, and some of the music it's repeating, but it's for me it's like a vibe of chaos playing there, and I was choosing this kind of vibe. It was playing liquid event or liquid party. I had that kind of liquid and all that.
Right.
So
how did you learn how to DJ? Was it on your own?
Dr. Jungle.
Oh, okay. So
well, I mean, he wasn't helping too much, but I learned from watching him.
Yeah.
Because he's really crazy good DJ in both techniques and playing anything. That's what I learned from him, to play anything. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You're playing CDJs, vinyls, controller. He's playing same good. Doesn't matter. And I was like, and I picked up a lot of that from him, and especially in the mixing. I still have a habit that I picked up from him. I sometimes hate myself for it, because before you put out a track, you can just, I love playing with faders. That's just one thing. It's like same like having something in hand. I love playing with faders on the DJ mixer. It's like I'm a DJ, so that means I need to play with the fader. So what I do is, when I'm mixing a track and getting the track into, I get that track shortly out for 1-2 beats and pull it out, because then you can immediately pick up how it sounds on the monitors instead of your headphones. And that's the trick I learned from him. And then you immediately pick up, is the track too fast, too slow, anything you can pick up really fast from you just playing a fader. And since you're playing a fader, you kind of putting out the fader only on beat.
Oh,
and you hear the full beat only in your headphones.
Interesting.
So it kind of doesn't create it doesn't distract the people in the crowd. They just hear something random pops, and they don't even notice it most of the time. But you know what's the track coming, and you hear the full track in your ear. You're like, oh yeah, because on the monitor you hear it very clearly. Depending even if you have very good headphones. Like you pull it out, and that's the one of, and I always do that. Like, oh, I'm playing with the fader before I pull out the track. And that's one thing for sure.
Nice. It's funny, man. I'm just having a lot of memories telling you this stuff.
Yeah, that's the same for me. I'm like, oh which mixes I play? Like, which liquids? I have I have.
Who's your favorite DJ in Barcelona?
Oh, I would say Teravita, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say Teravita, because that's the DJ I brought to Lithuania as well.
Yeah.
It's like, I just love the guy, but it's not just as a DJ. I just like him as a person first and foremost. Like his outlook to music, his outlook to jungle drum and bass, his outlook to, and the way he plays it. Yeah. It's like,
no, I could see he has a lot of influence of the time he spent, in the UK. That is probably what stands out the most. For me. I see someone Spanish, but I see someone who performs like an English person.
Yeah, he's like,
I mean?
And the way he I had a mix with him for the series. Man, I feel like running after him constantly, because he's so fast, so technical, so on point. And I'm like, man, I'm such a freestyler. This is so and it's such a sweat. It's nice, absolutely. I loved it, absolutely every minute of it. But it's just like the way feeling for me. I need to catch up to him, because I'm the one that's way behind. Like,
nice.
And then even I said to him, like, just relax, just play it nicely, like 3 CD. He said, like, yeah, you said relax, not 4.
So what about like international DJ, someone famous? Is there someone that you like, no matter what? That's
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yeah, he's very good.
I like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
No matter the styles that it. Wow, man, there's so many jazz. Like I've been in the jazz hall for last 2 years.
Yes.
I had like in the last 2 years I bought like I don't know 50, 60 jazz
Yep.
vinyls.
Yep.
And I was going to jazz here in Barcelona as well.
Mhm.
Crazy events.
What kind
But
of jazz do you like?
UK jazz.
Oh, okay.
I would call it. I would kind of, if you call it, would call it UK jazz because they kind of have a.
UK jazz is like 70s, right? 70s, 80s.
It's more like the modern UK jazz,
Yeah.
like the past I would say 10 years that they've been
Oh,
going
okay.
to, like Kamal
Oh.
Williams.
Oh, wow. Okay, okay.
And they've been going in a very interesting direction.
Yeah.
They have a lot of UK sounds in it.
Yeah.
What you would define as UK sound.
Yeah.
So, for example, you can listen to some jazz that the drummer is playing with the drum sounds, like you would hear on UK garage track, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
that has the cut or
The
that has
two-step
the
beat.
digital feel of it. It's
Yeah.
even though it's a real person playing,
Yeah.
or you have an 808 bass in it,
Wow.
and you're like
Crazy.
listening to jazz, and it's like 808 is hitting.
That's
It's like
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. I
And
love it.
and they have a lot of those fusions, let's say, and
Yeah.
it's still like jazz structurally. They're playing amazingly, and then you have a typical jazz.
Well, Barcelona has a pretty big jazz scene, man.
I know. I've been to a few concerts, and it's
Yeah,
like I
pretty
go
big
there,
jazz scene here.
and I still have one place I want to visit where they have a lot of jams.
Mm-hmm.
And because I saw an Instagram story from that bar where some famous I don't remember, but the famous jazz drummers came by. I think he was like Latin or something, and he just went there and jammed it. And I was like, man, I would pay to see that.
Yeah,
And you're-
seriously, man.
And there's just like a really good jazz DJs going around. So I'm like, yeah, I just want to go
Jazz, the original punk.
there. Yeah, absolutely true. That's actually true. Yeah.
Yeah.
The original punk, yeah, and,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's just I always liked jazz and drum and bass, and of course forgot the guy, the old school guy.
Square Pusher?
Oh, well, love him.
Well, I figured you were gonna say.
Absolutely
you
love him.
Breakcore, you love jazz.
Yeah, but no, from the drum and bass, from the drum.
Drum
we
and
have-
bass scene.
Yeah, drum and bass guy. He has the paper, a brown bag. I think.
Brown paper bag.
Yeah.
Ronnie Size.
Yeah, Ronnie Size. That's the guy.
Right, right,
See, like how good I'm with names. Who can forget
Oh,
Ronnie Size?
Fine, fine. Have it somewhere.
Yeah,
But,
I like when I listen. Like Ronnie Size for me is what I would call jazz and drum and bass because I can put on his record and go smoke a joint and listen to the
I
record.
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Just that, and just
they
enjoy
sampled
them.
a shitload of jazz music on that album, so
Yeah, and like this is like the first track I just got in my head. Like, what's the guy? What's the guy? Yeah, he's amazing. Like with
I actually just bought a track last week, and it's a live band, jazz band,
Oh, cool.
doing Brown Paper Bag.
Oh, cool.
I'll
I
show
think
it to
I
you.
think
'Cause I like to buy whenever I find like these obscure like drum and bass covers, but from like jazz bands and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Because I love to like kind of shock a party if it's appropriate moment and I'm supposed to play jungle, drum and bass or whatever, and I'm like, here's a classic you're all gonna know, but here's a
Yeah.
live version of it, you know. And every now and then I'll sneak one in like that.
It's difficult to mix because live is not.
Yeah, but that's when you have to try to be, you know, try to be a good DJ.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You need to. I mean, yeah, you can change the keys, you can change the
You
tempos,
can't
everything
change
works.
And this one that I bought, oh my god, there is no tempo on this one, man. It's gonna be one of those like throw in an ambient entrance at the end.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is not gonna get mixed. You know what I mean?
No mixing on this one. Yeah.
It has like 5 different tempos in the whole tune. You know what I mean?
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
That was crazy. But yeah, man, that's interesting.
I like doing similar, but not in that way. I'm not looking for covers. I'm looking for bands that that's why I like sitting in Bandcamp. I love Bandcamp. Bandcamp is my
Bandcamp is our savior.
is absolutely.
It's our savior. Because if imagine we didn't have Bandcamp and we have to go to Beatport.
I would go to
I
SoundCloud back.
fucking hate Beatport.
Yeah, man, like-
I'll give them my
You know what I
money.
mean?
I'll give them my money
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the music is important.
Yeah, it's
But
absolutely
I
exactly.
fucking hate Beatport, man.
100%.
I can't
It's
stand-
so made for you to not buy the music.
Well, it's made to buy this like commercial electronic music. Like,
No, not even that. It's made to for you to buy a subscription so that you can.
oh, that too. No, but even like their window, like
Yeah, no. Like the window looks like a bad version of
it's
Windows
so,
Me.
it's trashy, man.
Yeah, it's super.
It's trashy.
Like the Bandcamp. Like if it wasn't Bandcamp, I would go back to SoundCloud. I still go to SoundCloud. I still have some friends that I really appreciate, that they send me SoundCloud links, because the music I get from the SoundCloud, you will not find it anywhere else.
Yeah,
like
I
not
know.
even in the Bandcamp. And
I
Bandcamp
know.
has a lot of music that I bought because it got taken down after.
I know. I know. I bought a few of those. I love Bandcamp, man. It's
Yeah.
the closest thing to a record store. It's
Yeah,
the
and-
closest thing.
And coming back to the cover thing,
Yeah.
like you look for the covers of the known tracks. What I do is I look for the bands that don't need a drum and bass. They don't even do electronic music,
Yeah.
but they have a track with a jungle.
Yep.
And one of the tracks I played in one of my mixes, and even in like my mixes don't get played that much that I would get so much feedback constantly on them. But on that track, every single one who listened made a note of that track, and that track was from New York band, like obscure New York band that does jazz experimental stuff.
I just remember who the artist before. I was trying to remember Bill Laswell.
Oh, okay. I think
Bill Laswell.
yeah, I need to
He
check.
came from that noise, like ill by it. Anyway, so
Yeah.
you're saying this band?
This band from New York, and they have like, because I found it in the Bandcamp releases, and it was like a third album on the EP. It was like EP of 4 tracks or something. And I listened to the track, and it has a long intro, like like I would say old school jungle, old school drum and bass, where the intro is 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It has a long intro, a lot of build up, a lot of sonic noises, ambient noises, a lot of vocals work that were originally recorded by the singer of the band.
Yeah.
And it's fully electronic, absolutely amazing jungle track. I listened to it like I was like, I'm sitting on gold here.
Yeah. No, trust me, I know that feeling. Man.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't show it to anybody. I
Like
just
for example, you know what's a typical track that a lot of people play in drum and bass sets is the Radiohead.
Creep?
No.
joking.
Kid A.
Ah, yeah, Kid A.
That
Yeah,
track,
I have that album.
disco something.
Yeah, I have Radiohead vinyl. I think of that album.
That
actually.
track is a track that ended up in a lot of drum and bass sets because it was a straight up drum machine playing at, I think it was like 160, 155 BPMs. What's your favorite BPM?
Now 160.
Yeah.
Now, is like if I would think about like my mixes that
Today I'm thinking about playing slower tempo.
like
Like
you know what's funny?
64.
I recorded a mix of I called it coffee at joint because that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was playing strictly 160 jungle, and that mix sounds way harder than some of the like harder mixes I
Because
did.
people don't understand speed and volume,
Yeah.
the levels, are not tension.
Yeah, that's not
They can be,
Yeah,
depending on what you play. Tension is tension. You can get tension with 100 beats per minute,
exactly.
you know, or with 200 beats per minute. You know, you get a good breakcore artist, they're going to create a tension that's going to be better than the guy or girl before.
Yeah,
It's tension. It's
breakcore
not.
is like
It's not so much about the tempo, but yeah, I've had moments where like you said, I've played at parties where I played slower tempos, and the reactions are right away are like, oh, this sounds slow, and then by the middle of it,
yeah, they're like what's slow.
fuck, you know, like so it's nothing to do with tempo really.
Yeah. So now it's 160, like for
Well,
sure.
That's not necessarily true because at the same time, the slower the tempo, the more room there is for things to happen. So
Yeah, that's like when you play some of the like 80 like
Sully.
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. He has a
Sully
lot
is
of room
It's a
in
perfect
it.
example.
Yeah, until he fills in with a lot of breaks and
He
everything.
fills it in, but if you play that at 174, you get one vibe. You basically hear more of like the
pitch
the
up
black
and,
keys.
Yeah.
You hear the kick and you hear the snare, you hear the edits, but you don't hear too much of what's in between. If you play it at 164, then
Yeah.
you're hearing everything. And actually, you even hear more of his bass
Yeah, that's true.
when you play slower. So yeah, I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, he has a like I always notice like that's why you can mix in Sully on any like I don't remember his track which one it's work or the other one. I think it's the other one, not the work one. Uh, where it's starting with one note basically, and it's the track that you can mix. Doesn't matter how hard the current song is going, like it can full spectrum. I can put that solid track in there. I can mix it in there. It's gonna sound on top of all.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
know.
gonna be
That's
like,
what I said before about the mixes.
yeah, like, and I'm like, oh my God, Sully, you're amazing. It's just like,
He's good, right?
yeah,
very
I
good.
love it. So I say like most of my mixes I can get around without playing Sully for at least one track, because I always have some of his
You would have
track.
loved it, man.
Absolutely, that's why that's why I say I still feel regret
You,
for
you,
not being able
you
to
should
come
feel
there.
regret. No, honestly, it was special. That day was special. Here, we're running out of time now. We're reaching the 2 hour point,
Oh, cool! That's time flies when we're having fun.
isn't it? And I wanted to ask you some general questions.
Sure, of course, man.
I already asked you favorite DJ. Do you have a favorite mixer?
DJ mixer.
Yeah.
It depends on the music you play, I would say, because like for me, I can define with DJM S3. I love it. It's the one I have at home.
What is that?
Pioneer DJM S3. It's the
DJ
two,
MS3. Okay.
it's the two-channel Pioneer
Okay,
mixer.
okay.
It has its own proper faders,
Yeah.
2 channels
Mm-hmm.
for my vinyl setup,
Yeah.
more than I need. With the CDJs, I think the same. Pioneer became a standard. I don't like the sound. I think the others have
Yeah.
way better sound, like Xone mixers.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing is with them, I don't like having two mids when I'm playing drum and bass because it's excessive. I get it when you're playing techno, it's perfect. That's why techno riders usually have a mixture with two mids minimum as a requirement.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like DJ MS3 or something of 2 channels. I love them.
Your best DJ experience?
That's difficult to say.
Okay. I can
I
move
would
on.
I would say, I mean, because there's many good
Or was
ones.
your worst?
Well, worst, I didn't had anything really bad because I didn't had like any power cuts when I'm.
Oh, you're a
in-
lucky motherfucker.
In the last, yeah, but I had it happen for others while I'm stage manager, so it's like not that lucky. It's even worse, I would
That's
say.
worse.
Yeah, so
They're all
I would
looking
say
at you
that
like,
a really good I would like for me any good any experience is good enough for me if I have people reacting. I'm all good. Like it doesn't even matter if it's like a friend of mine sending and he reacts to like to the track I switched because he likes it and he just reacted to it or the people in general. That's a good party for me. That's it. I already like will rate it like I had a very good DJ experience.
this is a good question. Peter.
Tell me.
This is a good question. Dubbin,
Okay.
define drum and bass and define jungle.
Oh man, like drum and well, I would say drum and bass doesn't break. It's like you can have a broken rhythm repeating in 4/4 patterns and have still a drum and bass track. Jungle, anything that breaks out of that 4/4 mold. You can have a broken rhythm that's repeating, and it still would be drum and bass. And then you have a rhythm that's broken at some points, and the more it's broken, the better. And I think that's the fine line.
So for you, the difference is the edits.
Yeah, kinda. I would say that. Yeah, that's basically what defines jungle for me. Everything else, like ragga vocals, not ragga vocals, that's just a subgenre topic.
Yeah.
And even then, you could go argue, oh, like this drum and bass is edited, this drum and bass is not. It's. I would say there is no clear defining line, but that's where I start.
Nice. I like that answer. First record you bought?
Oh my god, I think it was Photek, Around the Sun.
Photek.
I love Photek, man.
How could you not? But that's a great first record, man.
Yeah, I think that was one. I mean, because I think I got it from Dr. Jungle. I mean, he had some amazing collection, and he still had.
Of course.
And yeah, obviously.
Well, if he ever wants to send me a gift. Okay, so first gig.
First gig, I was playing in Rasta Days. The events, like, uh, even before I started playing and I was getting my feet wet, let's say it like that, I used to go to the Rasta days, and the first DJ used to be the MP3 player, and that used to be me.
Nice.
So I would say that's the first. And there's 0 people in the party. Like at most there was 2 people that came to drink early, and just me and CDJs figuring everything out. That's when I figured out the levels between the songs, the song structure, and that's why I'm not afraid to going on stage anywhere, because of like I had the just experience of getting used to being where there's nobody around. Like
Right.
I consider that really, really lucky.
Right. So this camera is going to change to the camera of the computer when that camera dies.
Okay.
And that's when we will say bye.
Okay.
In the meantime, 3 songs or 1, whatever, that changed your life.
My life. I think there's one that September. I don't remember the band. Black Sun Empire.
Wow.
I was listening to that track for a year while going to the office. Yeah, that's like now
Wow,
yeah.
I love that you listen to all these different types, man.
I've been to Black Sun Empire event.
Yeah. I know when they were at their peak, I imagine.
Yeah, I the first track I learned was Arrakis
Right.
from them. Like, wow.
Crazy. Okay. A question you wish I would have asked you.
Oh man, I didn't think that much. I just came with open head and empty thing.
I'm
To
just
be
asking you.
honest, nah, I don't like. No, there's nothing from my life that I would. No.
Okay, something we don't know about you.
Well, I'm a geek. I don't know. Probably everybody knows it. I'm a gamer, a geek. I don't leave home too much.
Are you still a gamer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
What's your console?
I got a day off on Friday just so I can play games.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I hope that's a surprise.
But do you make money from it?
Of course not.
Okay.
That's my
So, that's your hobby, hardcore
entertainment.
hobby. How much money do you spend on it?
Well, I mean, I think I spent like $2,000 on the games in my lifetime,
Oh, okay.
and but I spent double the amount on the vinyls.
Right.
So it's priority.
Right. What's your console? Which one do you like?
I play on PC.
NPC?
On PC, yeah. I have a
PC.
laptop. PC, yeah.
Right.
I have Nintendo Switch. I had PlayStation at some point, but I was always like, I like to pirate. I like to mod stuff. Now I'm
Okay.
buying, but like I like to mod stuff, so it goes. It's kind of because I work as an engineer all the time.
Right. What is the best music advice you've received?
I would say don't push too hard. In a sense, don't try to prove yourself on stage too much. In general, like to show all your sounds, all your collection in that regard. Just go and it kind of goes hand in hand with the worst advice. Just be yourself. It's good to be yourself if you're already good, but if you're learning, like no, you want to get somewhere. So be
Right.
yourself is the wrong advice.
Right.
But just to try to find your own thing and sound in it, instead of just trying to show off all the top tracks that you think that everybody is listening to,
Yeah.
like in the kind of music selection
Right.
topic. I think music selection is everything in regards to
is.
DJing.
I agree. Uh, I'm seeing questions that are not very good for you. For example, explain your relationship with music, but I think it's pretty
I mean,
obvious.
I've been surrounded by music all my life, but now I'm kind of surrounding myself with music. So I'm kind of picking what kind of sounds I'm surrounding and picking what kind of music I'm surrounding.
Here's a good
myself.
question for you,
Sure.
because it always gets a different answer from different people. What is the correct, right amount or type of love that a DJ should receive?
Oh, 0. I would say 0.
Yeah?
I would say that if
See,
If-
everyone
if-
has
if-
different answers.
if DJs are hated, I think it's gonna be a good for society.
Okay, explain that.
I think I love the reason I loved playing in La Pau at some of the events. It's because the sound system was there
Yep.
and the DJ was there.
Yep.
It's the reason I liked Sonar at a lot of performances at
Yep.
Sonar a few years back,
Yep.
because there were not all, of course,
Yep.
but there were many stages where the DJ is there while the sound and visuals are there.
Yep.
Best and there was Square Pusher was playing there. I think
Mhm.
Square Pusher before Aphex Twin, I didn't even see him. It was not even possible to see
Right.
him. And I mean, I get it. It's entertainment. It's bringing the people. So if the DJ shouts in the mic to put your hands up, everybody is happy to put their hands up. But I think it turns into the performance instead of the DJing and music. Like, I don't know, Steve Aoki, I would say, the biggest, like, entertainer in that regard. He
Yeah.
goes there to make a show
Yeah.
and not to play the music.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So in
So
that regard, yeah.
I understand what you're saying. So what about like you just had a gig?
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter where. If it was like a gig of your lifetime or whatever. You DJ'd for an hour, 2 hours, and you get off the decks. Are you the type of DJ that needs to hear how you did?
No, I don't care because
You don't care.
what I did was in the context of the moment.
Yeah.
So with the context of the people,
Yep.
and that's why that's why I think a lot of live sets are not good for recording
Right.
because a lot of DJs react to the people and people react.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter that there was
Thank you.
1 minute of horse. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so true. It's so
Yeah.
fucking true. That is the difference between a mixtape and a live gig.
Yeah.
This leads to a good question. What is your opinion? No, better. I'm going to phrase the question in a correct way because we do have to respect the way other artists perform.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
What are the pros and cons for you for planning sets?
To have enough of this, like to have the selection narrowed.
I'm talking about planning this
Yeah.
song, then the next song.
Yeah,
then
no,
the
no,
next
no,
song.
no, no. I do plan it in a way for the sets, but for me is to have a selection low enough.
Yep.
That I can nitpick the tracks.
Yep.
But big enough
Yep.
that I can cover the different vibes.
But I'm talking about having like an actual. I'm playing this track and then this track and then
I
this
never
track.
have that. For
Okay,
never
I'm
for the
asking
live.
you about the pros and cons of that style of DJing.
I never do that, so like I can't really
Okay.
tell. Like because I know people who do it, who have prepared
I
the
know a
set,
lot of people do.
narrowed it down.
Yep.
They play it, and I think it comes down to if they make the people rock. Who cares really?
Thank you. That's how I feel about it. I don't plan my sets because I need to feed off the
Yeah.
people. And I can make a mistake with my choices.
Exactly.
So like I prefer not to have things planned and see the moment. But if another DJ does that, that's
Yeah,
the way
absolutely
that's
fine.
the way they
Yeah, that's
work.
what I mean. I don't have any beef with any DJ
Oh, no,
who
I'm not
plays
even
on
talking
phone.
about beef. I'm talking about more
Like-
from the perspective of like
Yeah,
the night.
yeah.
Like what kind? I know I left. I've gone home from nights in my lifetime that have changed my life, the direction of my life, because of my experiences with the music in those venues with those DJs and that crowd and that sound. And those were not planned sets. You know?
I made a mistake and people loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'll take that. Oh yeah, coming about the one of like in Stuttgart I played in South Germany
Yeah.
and it was like small event
Mhm.
and I made selected a wrong track to play it. I heard it when because I was a bit drunk and I heard it in the way mixing down. Well, it was too late to make a change and everybody loved it and I'm like, whoops, okay, works for me.
Yeah, isn't it funny how sometimes you play a set and in your head you're thinking that was probably one of the worst sets I've played in a long time, and that's the one where a bunch of people are like, man, that was great, and you're like, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you good with compliments?
No, absolutely
Me
not.
either.
No, I can hate on myself very easy.
No, it's not so much about hating.
But like compliments, like I take them, like, obviously, like I learned to take
yeah,
them.
of course.
But like no, not good. I overthink. Then I'm like, oh, this mix, they like this mix, like, and I played it in that kind of way. Like it kind of kicks in overthinking. Like, why do they like it so much?
I just don't know how to behave.
Oh yeah,
like people like oh my God, Serge, that was great, and then I'm like, thank you. Like I don't. See, camera died.
Yeah.
All right, so here now we're back to here. Now you can see my gut over here.
Yeah.
Time to say bye, my friend.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Let me turn this.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Really
anytime.
enjoyed it.
I absolutely loved it.
Half of this session, I was really dizzy.
I hope you get better,
I
man. Like,
struggled a
I
lot.
really hope you
I
get
hope
better.
that wasn't very noticeable on the show. I've been dealing with vertigo. I don't hope that for anybody or wish that on
Yeah.
anybody. But yeah, I will get better.
Hope
But
so.
I'm glad that you didn't notice.
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
if
it
you
was,
noticed or not, but I was sitting here like, fucking hell, man.
man, it was crazy.
That
I
was
hope you
not
get
fun.
better, man.
Well, anyway, the show is not about me. The show is about my guest,
Thank you.
and you were a great one.
Thanks so
I
much.
appreciated the conversation.
Oh man, love it.
Yeah, it was. Learned a lot of stuff about you today, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it was great, man. I really, really liked it. Any last words? Anybody out there?
Just have fun, do stuff that makes you have fun. That's pretty much it, and the rest will follow.
Fucking love it, man. All right, people. Peace out.
Thanks.